Welcome to the Fractured Families podcast. I'm Charity, your dedicated parental alienation coach, here to guide and support families as they navigate the challenges of high conflict divorces and custody battles. On this podcast, we'll share insights, practical strategies, and hope for those on the journey toward healing and justice. Whether you're personally experiencing these challenges or just want to learn more about the complexities of parental alienation and custody disputes, you're in the right place. You are not alone. This is the Fractured Families podcast, where every voice matters and every story is heard. And if you find my conversation helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us reach more families who need it. Thanks for joining the Fractured Families podcast. I'm Charity, your host. I have with me today a father who's been alienated from his daughter, Mindaugas. He will be sharing his story of alienation, high conflict divorce, and false allegations. So, Mindaugas, thank you so much for joining the Fractured Families podcast. Why don't you go ahead and just get started and tell us a little bit about, when you first met your wife, what you were going through, what she was going through, and then how you got to the point of separation, divorce, and then we'll go through the rest of the story as you share.
Yeah, all right. So I met my wife on a mountain hiking / climbing trip. She took her older son there for kind of mountain climbing, and I went mountain climbing too, and we met there. At the time, I was almost divorced, let's say. She was going through a divorce. So maybe some things clicked there, and that's how it all started, kind of. She was saying she was kind of getting out of an abusive relationship. She had 2 kids, 2 boys. I think it was 10 and 13 or something like that at that time. Yeah, we kind of started dating, moved in, started living together. I was kind of trying to be supportive of her during the tough time of the divorce, right? I kind of, I would say 90% bought into her story of her abusive relationship with her ex-husband, and
During her divorce, was she encountering a high conflict divorce, and did he have any contact with the boys during that period?
It's how to say, when I look through my eyes now, I kind of understand what was happening, and I could say kind of I know what was happening. Back then, I wasn't trying to get into it too much, and I didn't realize what was happening. How to say? Actually, even back then, I realized there was a fight about property, and I didn't know the father's side, right? I only heard her side, but my my position was not to get too involved. I would kind of try to be some kind of voice of reason for her, like ask her, does it really matter that much? Yeah, if it does, not to encourage anything, not to stop her from anything, but to kind of help her work through her thoughts, right? Little did I know that was a bad idea, actually.
So let's talk a little bit about that. So she's going through her divorce. Obviously, eventually she gets divorced, and then you two decide you want to have a child. How was the relationship from that point? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, in general, I would say I was quite stupid to miss lots of flags, lots of what's the other word for? Kind of, my English is failing me sometimes, but yeah, I was missing the signs, or not missing, but actually ignoring the signs. that things are not okay. But kind of, how to say, I was telling myself that it's improving, it's getting better, right? And my idea was that I will help her through this difficult divorce, right? Emotionally difficult, like also going to courts, all this stuff. I will help her through this, and we will live happily ever after. And it seemed that it's getting better. And at some point, I really remembered this. I sat down and I was thinking, like, where do we go forward? Either I really want to go forward, be invested in it, or there's no point going anywhere. And kind of, yeah, and I did really want children, so that was kind of main thing I was considering, right? And I really remember this point where I thought that kind of it is kind of difficult, but it is getting better, and we will get through this. We will make it, and then, yeah, happily ever after. So that's when I decided that I do want to have a child with her. We discussed it, and we went with it, and uh, not long after she got pregnant, then we got officially married, and yeah, so kind of it was how to say, looking at with those eyes I had then, it was going good. It was going better and better. Knowing what I know now, it wasn't really.
And in retrospect, it probably wasn't going as well as you thought. How did having her impact the marriage and the relationship?
So when our daughter was born, a couple of years were quite good, I say, even amazing. We had some small um things set up for when things get tough with the daughter, right? With in general, kind of with the newborn. I was extremely happy. I said I wanted children. I was extremely happy about it. Uh, it was not difficult for me to care for the child, right? So I enjoyed it truly. One of the beautiful things we kind of I invented, and we agreed upon, was like if one of us is sitting home with the child and the other one is out or anything, and when comes back home. So if for an example I come back from work, like she spent on maternity leave most of the time. So if I come back from work and she tells me, like, your daughter misses you very much, it essentially means, like, I'm going to kill somebody. Please take care of her now. So that was kind of the agreement, and it worked really well. I mean, it was. I used it, she used it, and we had kind of a good time. I mean, I enjoyed the challenge. I mean, I would come back from 12 hours of working through the day, dead, kind of dead hungry, tired as hell, and she would hand me this little chunk baby, and said, like, she misses you very much. I said, okay, I get it. And it was fine.
So,
But then kind of, yeah.
no, go ahead. So then when did it start to become not fine?
I like kind of my first when first times when people asked me that, I would say when we started building the house. Well, we bought the box and we kind of how to say, no, meaning just kind of, we not renovated, but kind of it was a newly built box, like walls and roof, and we needed to put everything else kind of inside, painted floor, doors, kitchen, and all this stuff. So I like to say that when we started doing that, but thinking back, it probably started getting worse quite a bit earlier, when we started planning to get a house. And I think I've been manipulated from the very beginning, because there were a bunch of options we went through. None of the ones I liked were good for her. At some point, my parents suggested to to gift me a piece of land so we could build a house there. And when they suggested that, it was fine. When they actually did that, it became not fine. I mean, for my wife. So I sold it. So we have money kind of to build what she chose in the end. I also sold a flat I had also to invest everything in the house. So that's kind of this. It was okay when parents proposed it, and it became not okay when they really gave me the land, right? Because it would be a problem for her in court if she wanted to kick me out of there. The land belongs to me. So I think that was the beginning of the real manipulation. And then I invested all I had into the house, and we lived there. Kind of the process of well, let's call it building a house. It's always a bit stressful. A lot of families probably get stretched to the limit, right? So it was difficult, very difficult. And again, with the what do you say? Yeah, well, anyway, kind of we tried. Well, I tried probably to make our life happen. This happy ever after life happen for 4 more years. Some of my friends said kind of, you are a very patient man. 4 years. And then I realized it's not going to work. And that's where kind of the hell started.
During the time where the house was built, designed, and then you both moved in, how was the relationship like with your daughter? Even though your relationship with her started to unravel, what was your parent-child relationship like in the intact household?
I always had a really good relationship with my daughter. I mean, I loved being with her. I loved playing with her. At times it would be difficult. I would have to work. She would kind of harass me. I mean, I want to play with me, but I would not have time. I would have to argue a bit about it. I mean, yeah, it was fun. We were having plenty of fun. It's difficult for me to compare. I only have one child, right? So I have what I have. I cannot compare it how it is good. I can say maybe from the perspective when everything started going bad and my wife started telling like, your daughter doesn't like you, even it never liked you, you never had any relationship, right? And she's scared of you, she doesn't want to see you. All this started, right? And hearing enough of it, I started having doubts, like, could that be true? And I was talking to a psychologist. I showed some videos of how we play. I showed some photos, what we do. And one of those was kind of the first really straight, a bit shocking kind of contradiction was, I showed a photo how daughter is sitting on my shoulders, and we were doing some grimace or something, some kind of posing something. And so she's not even holding my head, right? She's doing something with her hands, something with her face. I'm doing something there, and psychologist says, look at this. She trusts you. She would not get on your shoulders if she wouldn't, and she wouldn't let go of your hair if she wouldn't. And then she was jumping into my hands from a play kind of high, how to say, high up in the playground again, kind of trust. And then a lot of other things. And yeah, so I mean, I think we had an amazing connection.
So you decide to leave, and she threatens
That's that's not really what I decided.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I didn't leave. Yeah, it's a bit controversial, especially in say such a conservative country like Lithuania. I suggested an open marriage. We had a child, we had property, we had our ways of coexisting, but I didn't want to depend from her emotionally or sexually, from my wife. So that's what I suggested, and I would say that is all that she wanted, because it was written, right? It was in written form, not in verbal form. So she had a recording of it, and that's what she wanted. So I didn't really decide to leave, especially not leave my daughter. My wife kicked me out. It was a big scandal. She basically said, if you don't leave, the children will suffer. That, those were her exact words. In Lithuanian, of course. Yeah. So I did. Then, yeah, I did leave.
And then,
Yeah, immediately then, kind of the parental alienation started. My daughter was told that I'm the bad guy, that I'm leaving her, that I want to hurt mom, that I want to take the house, that I want to kick her out. I mean, her, both wife and daughter, and so on and so on and so on. And I contacted. I also I had trouble seeing daughter, not because of me, because it was made difficult. I mean, the daughter was always busy, or the wife was always busy, or whatever reason. I mean, I tried seeing her almost every day, and it was just not happening. I had to. A few times I cheated. I'd simply wait till my wife left home and would go there just to sit with my daughter uh, at the entrance of the house, basically, to talk. Yeah, and not long. Yeah, so yeah. First things, I contacted child services to help with this. They've been beyond useless. They actually supported, how to say, not supported, they enabled alienation process. They prolonged the time when mother was allowed not to allow me to see the daughter. Yeah, so that, and not long after that, I got messages from my wife which clearly indicated she's going to accuse me of sexually assaulting daughter. When I got the first message, I was at a summer party with my colleagues. It was hell of a scary night. I think I had my first panic attack. Then I was lying in bed shaking for 4 hours. I didn't have any medicine which could help with that. I couldn't. I was afraid to go ask for help. Basically, I had a colleague close to me, who's close kind of enough that he would probably just help me with no questions asked. But I was afraid to go out of my room. And yeah, then it happened. I mean, she tried to get a criminal investigation against me for sexual abuse against my daughter. She dragged the daughter to a psych evaluation. I don't know how it's called, kind of expertise. But experts there said that there are no signs of it, and that it's very likely that the things the daughter is saying is because mother said so. So the first time police didn't start the investigation. Then, so it was very early. It was still in 2020. All of this went on. Kind of us splitting up started in what's this month called in English? Yes, like in August of 2020. So by December, this psychological expertise was done, and then I think a couple of months later, I got a message that I've been talking to police, and probably a couple of months later, I got a message that they are not even starting the proper criminal investigations. That it was just some initial kind of and they didn't even start it. Then I had a couple of hellish years trying to keep any kind of contact with my daughter. So courts gave me some visiting hours. But as my wife was accusing me of sexually abusing daughter, I had no sleepovers. So it was just some hours during the day and some weekends. If I go to see my parents, kind of grandparents of my daughter. All of the time, my wife was complaining to child services, to police, to anywhere she could that I'm doing something wrong. And those guys, well, how to say, I do have some respect for police and prosecutors that they saw through her eyes, and I'm not sitting in jail now for those false allegations. But at the same time, they did not stop the abuse she was doing. And child services, as I said, beyond useless. They're really hurtful. They're really bad. They were the ones listening to her words and coming then demanding me negotiate, demanding me do what my wife demands, even though it's really against the child, the best interests of the child. Yeah, so for 2 years, I was barely holding on to keep connection with the daughter. Say for some time it was okay, but then my wife. I mean, it was quite okay, but then my wife noticed that it is okay, and she started doing more of the alienation thing. And it all culminated when the divorce court changed my visiting time. I don't know, it's visiting time, probably called kind of how we yeah.
It should be your parenting time, but they do call it visitation.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's call it parenting time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I had quite a lot better schedule. I had sleepovers. I had it was quite a bit better. But as this court decision came into effect, that was really the last time I saw my daughter. Immediately after I was cut off completely. And I contacted, of course, authorities. I don't know how's this the people who enforce the letter of court. I don't know how they call it in English, kind of. I contacted them. They made the paperwork and they asked the court to find my wife. Court didn't. Well, they gave her a warning. What doesn't mean anything, basically, right? So that was for a month of me not seeing daughter, and during that month, she brainwashed my daughter once again. I mean, to tell that I'm a pedophile, basically. She dragged her to psychological evaluation again. And this time, specialists there said that there might how was it, like, there are signs of it, something like that. So a criminal investigation was started then, and I was forbidden to see my daughter now by prosecutor. The investigation took a year or a year and a half. I think it's about a year. So I was forbidden to see my daughter throughout all the time. They did a proper psychological expertise with kind of the official institution which is responsible for that in Lithuania. And those specialists identified parental alienation towards me. They identified that mother is influencing the child heavily, and they said directly that mother is emotionally abusing the child. And they said that not a single word about my daughter's experiences, which she told, right, bad experiences with me, that not a single word about it can be trusted. Yeah, so the criminal investigation was canceled without going to. When I read it, I thought, now the divorce court will have to do something. They didn't. Not really. I mean, well, what they did, they said that I haven't seen my daughter for a year and a half or something, and she says she's afraid of me. And so we need to restore our connection. And we will assign some organization to mediate, to help you do that. But the daughter stays to live with mother who is emotionally abusing her. And well, if you know what parental alienation is, and in this case already, when the child is saying that she's afraid of the father, that she doesn't want to see her, that is listing sexually some sexual things, kind of, it means it's a heavy case of parental alienation. And in these cases, there is no chance to improve anything as long as the child is living with the abuser. But that was exactly what the court decided. And they, even the first court said, we are doing this restoration of connection indefinitely. The appeal court set end date of 1 year, which is, again, if you know parental alienation, is nonsense. It's again just dragging time. And yeah, so with that, kind of, we move into the last chapter, which is now half a year ago, this deadline of 1 year of the restoration came. And what means that means that the this parenting time set by court takes effect. Simply, I mean, there is a schedule when I have to see my daughter, and this takes effect. But my ex-wife filed another court case asking for more money and to restrict my visitations to daughter, my parenting time, and kind of, how to say, essentially the judge agreed to that. This technical nuance is, she stopped forceful implementation of this divorce court order. So it is in effect, but I have zero ways to implement it. I mean, I cannot contact anyone to enforce it. And that's where we are now, kind of. Yeah, again, the process of restoring my connection with daughter was started. It's not going anywhere. It's not happening. I mean, my wife is doing anything to look like she's doing it, but not doing it. And yeah, and to make matters worse, the psychologist that got assigned, he doesn't believe parental alienation exists, and his methods would be me apologizing to my daughter for what she thinks I did, what I didn't do, right? So essentially feeding into her illusion. Yeah, so that's where I am today. This court is still in progress. Yeah.
During the attempt to reunify your relationship with your daughter, did you two ever have a face to face? Were you ever in a session with her, or did it never get to that point?
The last time I saw my daughter was more than 3.5 years ago. That was when the divorce court set semi-good parenting time. That was the last time I saw my daughter or heard from her. No phone, no Facebook, no WhatsApp, no seeing her, nothing. I tried to go kind of to her birthday party, but my wife and her son beat me. And of course, they accused me of being violent and beating them. Yeah.
Sons are older now. They're maybe young adults.
Yeah, over 20, both over 20.
And so
Both
they
also,
assaulted you.
also, yeah, the younger one,
Hmm.
the older one, I think he was already out of jail. He lived for a couple months with the mother, but he left, and those both of those children were all are or were also alienated from their father. They were both uh, used in the fight. They accused the father of being abusive after living with mother for a few months or something like that. So I mean, I don't know, was he abusive or not. I heard just well, mostly her story, and I heard just small pieces from outside. One was from the director of a school where children went, where the older guy went. He was very troubled, completely messed up. I mean, emotionally. And the director said, like, I don't know what was happening with the father, but at least he tried to help, like, which was not the case about the mother. And I've heard now that when the older guy came out of jail, he's in contact with his father again.
Wow.
Either he apologized, made peace. I don't know, kind of. But yeah, so kind of 4 years of jail to detoxicate the guy, at least somewhat from the influence of the mother.
You know what's so heartbreaking is that it took him being incarcerated to break her control over him and the amount
Yeah.
of damage she inflicted on those boys. And sadly, now your daughter, because of her control or wanting to exclude the father from their lives. And it's just so heartbreaking.
And what's really scary, uh, this psychologist I mentioned before, who doesn't believe in parental alienation, who should be doing kind of the restoration of contact between me and my daughter. He spoke to my daughter, and he then told me the things she told him, and it's quite terrible. I also discussed this with a couple of psychologists, and they read it with terror. It's very likely my daughter will never recover from it properly. I mean, maybe when she's 50, she will have extreme difficulty having normal relationships. She will have difficulty with self-esteem. She might have, uh, yeah, anxiety disorders. She might have some kind of paranoia. I mean, it's bad. On multiple occasions, I've read my daughter is saying she saw me crawling around the house in the bushes. Nope, haven't been there. So either she's seeing things, hell knows.
And it's likely that's what she's being told is happening, and she's just repeating
Yeah.
that. I mean, sadly, she's a victim of abuse, and she lives in fear. I mean, she has no choice but to align, and you have a complete separation. I mean, over 3 years, you're the mother has no intentions of ever allowing a relationship with you. And to your point, the courts have made some attempts, but there's no true solution other than removing her from her mother's care.
That's what I'm asking, but Lithuania is not there yet. Nobody knows not what to do. Nobody knows how to handle this. Really, child services are making it worse. Even after these psychiatrical, I mean that institution which does psychiatrical evaluations for the court, the highest one, the only one who can really do expertise and write some conclusions, right? Even when they said mother is emotionally abusing the child, the next document from child services was, we do not see anything wrong. It blows my mind. All this was happening 3 years ago. It's a bit less, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I was really losing my mind. I couldn't believe how bad it is. I couldn't believe that the court system, that the child services are that bad. I couldn't believe that nobody will come to help my child. And at the same time, I was going crazy because I was realizing how bad it is for my daughter. And yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts to share with our listeners?
Yeah, probably I want to say, if you are going through something like this, hold on. Yeah. I've been to a dark place. I'm happy to get out of there. Reach out even to me if you're going through hell. At least I can listen.
Thank you for sharing your story on the Fractured Families podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Fractured Families podcast. I hope our conversation has provided you with support, understanding, and actionable insights to help you navigate your own family challenges. Remember, healing is a journey, and reaching out for help is a sign of strength. You're not alone. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your support helps us reach more families in need. You can contact me on social media at Parental Alienation is Real, and visit our website for additional resources and ways to get involved. Stay strong, stay connected, and keep fighting for the family bonds that matter most. Until next time, take care and stay resilient.